York City has a new mayor, Bill de Blasio. We've talked about him a lot on this program. But you might not be aware that this week we also acquired a new city council speaker in Melissa Mark Viverito. She's a very far-left activist. She sympathizes with Latin American dictators. You know, I'm going to stay with Declarations columnist Peggy Noonan here to talk about this, not just these people individually, but to step back from it. This is such a huge break from the past, Peggy, from the recent past.
Yeah, it is.
Why are New Yorkers moving this far to the left? What does it mean for us?
Well, New York took a swerve. It had 20 years of I think, relatively moderate and mature and, again, sober-minded government. New York is, however, a Democratic town. It was going to take a swerve sooner or later. It took a swerve to the left. I think the unappreciated numbers of New York's decision are of roughly 8 million people. There are 4.3 million registered voters, and Bill de Blasio won with only a 24% turnout of that group. So he got a landslide, but from a really reduced pile of voters. And I think part of the reason is that, look, New York is full of young people. It's vibrant. It's full of people looking to the future, and I think a lot of them are not fully aware of New York when it didn't work in the 70s and 80s and early 90s, and can't imagine a New York that doesn't work. And I think they've unfortunately made a swerve that is going to show them once again, perhaps, a New York that doesn't work.
Peggy, the de Blasio team is selling their progressive ideas, higher taxes, more government spending, stronger unions, as new ideas. But they're not, are they?
That's really funny. They have changed progressives right now, who used to be liberals or leftists. Progressives have changed the name of their efforts. It used to be a war on poverty, now it is a war on inequality. But their remedies in the war, what they'll do battle with to defeat the enemy, it's the same old, same old. It's, again, as Bill de Blasio said in his inaugural address, higher taxes for you wage earners. We're going to take that money and we're going to do more education with it, which, gee, on the side happens to mean they'll hire more teachers who will be head of the union, and the unions support him. So while it seems very idealistic or dreamy, in its practical effects, I think it's yet old style, tough guy city governing where you do anything to build up your own constituency and your own base.
Yeah.
But it's interesting that it's not a new answer.
A lot of demagoguery there.
Yes, I think so. I think it was actually rude and snotty to those in New York who have always worked so hard. This is the hardest working city in the world, in my view. Paid a lot of taxes, federal, state, local, sales, the whole deal. And we're told, not in a generous-spirited, sharing way, but in a sort of punitive, I know who you sons of guns are way, that they will now be paying more, the tone of which is divisive. It means there are good guys here and bad guys, and we know who the bad guys are, and they're about to pay a price.
Okay, so we know who the bad guys are. They're about to pay a price. Declaration columnist Peggy Noonan, thank you so much for joining us.